Next topic, India and space research. So basically here we learn how ISRO has came into existence, how the space research started in India, who started it, what are its objectives and all those things. So I'll just give you a brief story how it has started and all. So in 1950s and 1950s అంటే మనకి ఇండిపెండెన్స్ వచ్చే టైంలో టోక్యో ఒలింపిక్స్ వాస్ హ్యాపెనింగ్. టోక్యో ఒలింపిక్స్ జరిగిన టైంలో ఏమైందంటే యుఎస్ శాటిలైట్, ఏ శాటిలైట్ కాల్డ్ సిన్కామ్ 3, దిస్ ఇస్ ద శాటిలైట్. ఇట్ హ్యాస్ గివెన్ లైవ్ బ్రాడ్కాస్ట్ ఆఫ్ దోస్ ఒలింపిక్స్ అక్రాస్ ద పెసిఫిక్ నేషన్స్. ఓకే, పెసిఫిక్ ఓషన్కి అటువైపు ఇటువైపు ఉండే కంట్రీస్లో యుఎస్ యొక్క సిన్కామ్ 3 అనే శాటిలైట్ లైవ్ బ్రాడ్కాస్ట్ చేయడం జరిగింది ఒలింపిక్స్. దెన్ వెన్ దట్ హ్యాపెండ్, ఏ ప్రామినెంట్ సైంటిస్ట్ ఇన్ ఇండియా కాల్డ్ Vikram Sarabhai, డాక్టర్ Vikram Sarabhai, he has observed this and he thought that unless we also have such a kind of technology like communication satellites and all, over a period of time will be lagging behind countries like US and other western countries. So once he identified that, immediately he convened a program or a committee. ఇండియాలో ఉన్న ఏబుల్ సైంటిస్ట్స్, రీసెర్చర్స్ వాళ్ళందరినీ కలిపి ఒక కన్వెన్షన్ ఒక కాన్ఫరెన్స్ లాంటిది పెట్టడం జరిగింది. ఆ కాన్ఫరెన్స్లోనే ఆయన ఇమీడియట్గా ఒక కమిటీని ఫామ్ చేశారు. ఆ ఇమీడియట్గా ఫామ్ చేసిన కమిటీనే ఇన్కోస్పార్ అంటాం. ఓకే, ఇండియన్ నేషనల్ కమిటీ ఫర్ స్పేస్ రీసెర్చ్. దట్ ఈస్ ద ఫస్ట్ ఆర్గనైజేషన్ రిలేటెడ్ టు స్పేస్ రీసెర్చ్ ఇన్ ఇండియా. ఓవర్ ఏ పీరియడ్ ఆఫ్ టైమ్ అదే మనకి ఇస్రోగా ఎవాల్వ్ అయింది. ఇనీషియల్లీ ఇన్కోస్పార్ వాస్ ఫామ్ అండర్ డాక్టర్ Vikram Sarabhai. డాక్టర్ Vikram Sarabhai, వెన్ హీ వాజ్ యాక్టింగ్ యాజ్ ద డైరెక్టర్ ఆఫ్ ఫిజికల్ రీసెర్చ్ ల్యాబొరేటరీ. ఈ ఫిజికల్ రీసెర్చ్ ల్యాబొరేటరీ అనేది మనకు అహ్మదాబాద్లో ఉంటుంది. దేర్ రీసెర్చెస్ రిలేటెడ్ టు వేరియస్ కైండ్స్ ఆఫ్ టెక్నాలజీస్ అండ్ సైన్స్ రిలేటెడ్ రీసెర్చ్ విల్ హ్యాపెన్. సో అది ఎస్టాబ్లిష్ చేసింది కూడా ఆయనే. సో దానికి డైరెక్టర్గా వ్యవహరిస్తున్నప్పుడు ఈ కన్వెన్షన్ అనేది పిలవడం అండ్ అక్కడ కొంతమంది ఏబుల్ సైంటిస్ట్, రీసెర్చర్స్, సోషియాలజిస్ట్, ఆంథ్రపాలజిస్ట్, కమ్యూనికేటర్స్ వీళ్ళందరినీ తీసుకుని ఒక ఇన్కోస్పార్ అనే దాన్ని ఫామ్ చేశారు. ఓవర్ ఏ పీరియడ్ ఆఫ్ టైమ్ ఆ ఇన్కోస్పారే మనకి ఇస్రోగా ఎవాల్వ్ అవడం జరిగింది. రైట్. సో ద స్పేస్ రీసెర్చ్ యాక్టివిటీస్ were initiated in our country during the early 1960s and with the live transmission of Tokyo Olympics across the Pacific nation by a satellite called SINCOM 3, demonstrating the power of communication satellite, Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, the founding father of India's space program, quickly recognized the benefits. And then what he has done, by being the director of physical research laboratory, he called for a meeting of scientists, anthropologists, communicators and social scientists and formed from all corners of the country to spearhead the India space program. నా అంతా బాగానే ఉంది. మనకి ఇండియా స్పేస్ ప్రోగ్రామ్కి సైంటిస్టులు అనేవాళ్ళు ఎందుకు అవసరమో మనకు ఆల్రెడీ తెలుసు. ఓకే, ద బేసిక్ సైన్స్ దట్ ఈస్ రిలేటెడ్ టు స్పేస్ ప్రోగ్రామ్, ఫర్ దట్ వీ నీడ్ సైంటిస్ట్, బాగానే ఉంది. వై డు వీ నీడ్ ఆంథ్రపాలజిస్ట్స్, వై డు వీ నీడ్ కమ్యూనికేటర్స్, వై డు వీ నీడ్ సోషల్ సైంటిస్ట్స్? వాళ్ళు ఎందుకు కావాలి మనకి? ఫస్ట్ ఆంథ్రపాలజిస్ట్. వై డు వీ నీడ్ ఆంథ్రపాలజిస్ట్ ఇన్ స్పేస్ ప్రోగ్రామ్? అసలు ఆంథ్రపాలజీ అంటే ఏంటి? ఐ థింక్ మీలో సగం మంది ఆప్షనల్ అదే అని అనుకుంటున్నా. ఎంతమంది ఉంది ఆంథ్రపాలజీ ఆప్షనల్? ఎస్, యాజ్ ఎక్స్పెక్టెడ్, డీసెంట్ నెంబర్. యా, వాట్ ఈజ్ ఆంథ్రపాలజీ? ఓకే, or can I say human evolution? Okay, now ఏమంటున్నాం, మనకి వన్ ఆఫ్ ద ఆబ్జెక్టివ్ ఆఫ్ స్పేస్ ఎక్స్ప్లోరేషన్స్ ఏం చెప్పాం? హ్యాబిటబుల్ ఫర్ ద హ్యూమన్స్ అని చెప్తున్నాం. ఏదైతే ప్లానెట్స్ ఆర్ సమ్ అదర్ సెలెస్టియల్ బాడీస్ విచ్ ఆర్ హ్యాబిటబుల్ ఫర్ ద హ్యూమన్స్, ఎవరు డిసైడ్ చేస్తారు అది హ్యాబిటబుల్లా కాదా, లేదా అక్కడ అసలు ఎగ్జిస్ట్ అవ్వగలమా లేదా అనేది? దట్ హ్యాస్ టు బి డిసైడెడ్ బై ఆంథ్రపాలజిస్ట్, because they know how human evolution happened, where humans can survive. So that's why we needed some anthropologists in the space program as well. అదే కాకుండా రేపు పొద్దున మనం స్పేస్కి వెళ్ళినప్పుడు కూడా అక్కడ ఎలాంటి కండిషన్స్ ఫేస్ చేయాలి, అది ఎలా ఫేస్ చేయొచ్చు, విల్ ద హ్యూమన్స్ బీ ఏబుల్ టు ఫేస్ సచ్ ఏ కండిషన్స్ ఇన్ స్పేస్? For all these things, we will require the help of anthropologists. Along with biologists, we will also require help of anthropologists. That is fine. Communicators. So, communication means what? What is communication? Transfer of information by using some medium. Normally, మనం హ్యూమన్స్ యూస్ చేసే మీడియం లాంగ్వేజ్. అట్లాగే ఇప్పుడు శాటిలైట్ కమ్యూనికేషన్ ఆర్ అదర్ కైండ్స్ ఆఫ్ కమ్యూనికేషన్ విల్ రిక్వైర్ డిఫరెంట్ లాంగ్వేజెస్ అండ్ డిఫరెంట్ కమ్యూనికేషన్ లాంగ్వేజెస్. సో దానికి మనకి కమ్యూనికేటర్స్ అనేవాళ్ళు అవసరం అవుతారు. ఓకే, ఫర్ డెవలపింగ్ న్యూ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ లాంగ్వేజెస్ అండ్ న్యూ మోడ్స్ ఆఫ్ కమ్యూనికేషన్. అలాగే సిమిలర్లీ లెట్ us say if at all if we get in touch with aliens at some point of time, again to communicate with them some specialists will be needed. Okay, that's why some communicators are required. Next, social scientists. Okay, I think some of you also might be having sociology as their optional. Evarunnaaru? Anyone sociology? Evaru lera? Okay, ఇంకేమున్నాయి? ఆంథ్రపాలజీ ఒకటి చెప్పారు. పొలిటికల్ సైన్స్ ఎంతమంది ఉన్నారు? పొలిటికల్ సైన్స్ ఓకే. మిగిలింది జాగ్రఫీ ఉన్నారా? కొంప తీసి లేరు. పబ్లిక్ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్ అది కూడా లేదు. అంటే కొంతమంది ఇంకా డిసైడ్ అవ్వలేదు అసలు, ఆ కేటగిరీ కూడా ఉండుంటారు. అంటే కొత్తగా జాయిన్ అయిన వాళ్ళు ఉంటారు కదా, మేబీ మైట్ నాట్ హ్యావ్ డిసైడెడ్. మ్యాథమెటిక్స్ ఎనీవన్? ఓకే. తెలుగు లిటరేచర్? ఓ గుడ్. ఇంకేమున్నాయి మనకి? పిఎస్ఐఆర్ అడిగాం. మేనేజ్మెంట్ ఓకే. ఇంజనీరింగ్ ఫీల్డ్స్ ఎవరు తీసుకోడు, ఇంజనీర్సే తీసుకోరు. మన తెలుగు రాష్ట్రాల్లో అయితే అసలుకే కష్టం. ఎస్ యూ కెన్. ఎంబీఏ చేశారా? తీసుకోవచ్చు. ఎక్కడ చేశారు ఎంబీఏ? యూ కెన్ టేక్. ఇఫ్ యు ఆర్ కాన్ఫిడెంట్ ఇన్ ద సబ్జెక్ట్ యూ కెన్ టేక్, నో ఇష్యూ. ఎకనామిక్స్ ఎవరన్నా బిఏ ఎకనామిక్స్, ఎంఏ ఎకనామిక్స్ చేస్తే వాళ్ళు తీసుకోవచ్చు, తప్పేం కాదు. ఇంజనీరింగ్ అయితే జనరల్లీ తీసుకోరులే, కానీ ఎంఏ లాంటివి చేస్తే తీసుకోవచ్చు. హిస్టరీ ఎనీవన్? అదేంటి అంత రియాక్షన్ వచ్చింది? మంచి సబ్జెక్టే కదా. ఓకే ఫైన్. ఎనీవే, సో సోషల్ సైంటిస్ట్ మనకు జనరల్లీ సోషియాలజీ రిలేటెడ్ టాపిక్. అగైన్, వై డూ వీ నీడ్ సోషల్ సైంటిస్ట్స్ ఇన్ స్పేస్ టెక్నాలజీ ఆర్ ఇన్ ఇస్రో? బేసికల్లీ we make many inventions because of this technology. రకరకాల టెక్నాలజీస్ డెవలప్ చేస్తాం, రకరకాల శాటిలైట్స్ డెవలప్ చేస్తాం. అట్ ద ఎండ్ ఆఫ్ ద డే అది సొసైటీకి ఉపయోగపడాలా లేదా? ఏదో ఊరికే డబ్బులు ఖర్చు పెట్టి అది చూసాం ఇది చూసాం అంటే కాదు కదా. దే నీడ్ టు బీ హెల్ప్ఫుల్ ఫర్ ద సొసైటీ. సో హౌ దీస్ టెక్నాలజీస్ ఓకే షుడ్ అప్లై ఫర్ ద సొసైటల్ నీడ్స్, ఓకే దాన్ని డిసైడ్ చేసేది మనకు సోషల్ సైంటిస్ట్. ఓకే, హౌ వీ కెన్ అప్లై దీస్ టెక్నాలజీస్ to solve the problems of society. Okay, like how we can use some kind of satellite data for solving some of the problems of society. Like for example, remote sensing satellite data ని యూస్ చేసి ల్యాండ్ డిస్ప్యూట్స్ లాంటి రేపొద్దున రిజాల్వ్ చేసే ఛాన్సెస్ ఉంటాయి. ఓకే, అట్లాగే రకరకాల రిసోర్సెస్ ఐడెంటిఫికేషన్ ద్వారా ఓకే బెటర్ ల్యాండ్ యూసేజ్ అనేది చేయొచ్చు. సో ఆల్ దీస్ థింగ్స్, హౌ దీస్ అప్లికేషన్స్ కెన్ బీ హెల్ప్ఫుల్ ఫర్ ద సొసైటీ, దట్ విల్ బీ డిసైడెడ్ బై ద సోషల్ సైంటిస్ట్. సో వీళ్ళందరినీ ఒక దగ్గరకు తీసుకొచ్చి మన ఇండియా స్పేస్ ప్రోగ్రామ్ అనేది స్టార్ట్ చేయడం జరిగింది. లేటర్ అగైన్ మళ్ళీ ఎలా ఎవాల్వ్ అయ్యింది అని మనం చూసుకుంటే, ఈ ఇన్కోస్పార్ ఏదైతే నేను చెప్పానో ఇండియన్ నేషనల్ కమిటీ ఫర్ స్పేస్ రీసెర్చ్, అది మనకి విక్రమ్ సారాభాయ్ గారు స్టార్ట్ చేసింది. అది 1962లో ఎస్టాబ్లిష్ చేయడం జరిగింది ఇన్కోస్పార్ అనేది. ఓవర్ ఏ పీరియడ్ ఆఫ్ టైం ఇన్కోస్పార్ అనేది కొన్ని యాక్టివిటీస్ స్టార్ట్ చేయడం, అండ్ బై 1968 ఇట్ బికేమ్ ఇస్రో. 62లో ఇన్కోస్పార్, బై 68 ఇట్ బికేమ్ ఇస్రో. దాని తర్వాత ఇస్రో ఫామ్ అయిన ఒక 4 yearsకి 1972 డిపార్ట్మెంట్ ఆఫ్ స్పేస్ అనేది ఫామ్ చేయడం జరిగింది. గవర్నమెంట్ డిపార్ట్మెంట్ ఆఫ్ స్పేస్ అనేది ఫామ్ చేసి ఈ డిపార్ట్మెంట్ కిందకి ఇస్రోని తీసుకురావడం జరిగింది. 1973 నుంచి 1974 వరకు 4 years 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 4 Okay, in 1972, Department of Space and Space Commission were formed, and under Department of Space, now the administration of ISRO will come under. That means at the top of the hierarchy in the space research in India, we have Department of Space. Now జనరల్గా మనకి గవర్నమెంట్లో ఉండే డిపార్ట్మెంట్స్ పైన ఒక మినిస్టర్ లేదా మినిస్ట్రీ అనేది ఉంటుంది కదా. లైక్ ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ డిపార్ట్మెంట్ ఆఫ్ సైన్స్ అండ్ టెక్నాలజీ విల్ కమ్ అండర్ మినిస్ట్రీ ఆఫ్ సైన్స్ అండ్ టెక్నాలజీ. డిపార్ట్మెంట్ ఆఫ్ ఎకనామిక్ అఫైర్స్ విల్ కమ్ అండర్ మినిస్ట్రీ ఆఫ్ ఫైనాన్స్. నా మరి డిపార్ట్మెంట్ ఆఫ్ స్పేస్ దేని కిందకు వస్తుంది? ఓకే, Department of Space will come under which ministry? No. No. Actually, there is no ministry. There are few departments under government which doesn't come under any kind of ministry. Okay, one such example is Department of Space, and the other is Department of Atomic Energy, which is related to nuclear technology. Department of Atomic Energy and Department of Space, they don't come under any kind of ministry. They directly come under the Prime Minister's office, PMO. So simply we can say Department of Space is the top hierarchical body when it comes to space research. So they will decide the space policy or any kind of objectives related to the policy related to ISRO and all those things. Okay, so Department of Space has the primary objective of promoting development and application of space science and technology, and also to assist in all-round development of the nation. Okay, and towards this, DOS has evolved the following programs. So some of the following programs that are started by Department of Space. Okay, simply understand, Department of Space is the body which will set the policy guidelines for space research in India. So for that they will start various programs, various missions, etc., etc. So main key programs under Department of Space. First one, launch vehicle program. Okay, obviously as the name is suggesting, it is to develop several kind of launch vehicle technologies that are required for launching of our satellites. Whatever the satellites that we are going to launch, for launching them, the launch vehicles, okay, they will be developed under this program, having indigenous capability of launching the spacecrafts. And INSAT program, generally this INSAT program is mainly for communication satellites, but along with communication satellites, some of the payloads that are present in INSAT program can also be helpful for weather forecasting and other aspects as well. But main purpose of INSAT program is what? Communication satellites. Okay, the program is main for telecommunication, broadcasting, meteorology and development of education, etc. Remote sensing program, as I have already told you briefly, remote sensing satellites means what? Also called earth observation satellites. Okay, these are the satellites which will observe the earth from a particular orbit. Okay, from a particular orbit they will be observing the resources that are present on the earth. By observing those resources, they will be providing us with some kind of data. By using that data, okay, we will be doing multiple applications. So remote sensing program for application of the satellite imagery for various developmental purposes. Okay, and last, research and development in space sciences and technology for serving the end and applying them for the development of the nation. So whatever the technologies we develop, at the end of the day, they will be helpful for the society, and they should also help in overall building our economy of our country as well. Okay, so that is the last aspect. So again, INCOSPAR and ISRO, Indian National Committee for Space Research, it was initiated under the leadership of Dr. Sarabhai and Dr. Ramanathan, and later some of the landmarks of ISRO are under INCOSPAR. If you see, the first Indian spacecraft called Aryabhatta was developed and launched by using a Soviet launcher in the year 1975. Again, in the chronology order, later we will see, we will look at all the achievements of ISRO. There also you will again see all these aspects. And remember, in 1975 when we are launching our Aryabhatta, we are saying it was launched by using a Soviet launcher. Why?
We don't have a...
Because at that point of time, we don't have our own launch vehicles. That is the main reason. Okay, we will see when we got our launch vehicles. And another major development was the first launch vehicle of India, which was developed called SLV-3, and in the year 1980. First ever launch vehicle developed in India is SLV-3 in the year 1980, but this has a payload capacity of only 40 kgs. I will explain you what is payload and all. Here only I will explain. Payload, this is a word that we use generically for various purposes. Let us take a launch vehicle or a rocket. What is the main purpose of a rocket or a launch vehicle? దాని మెయిన్ పర్పస్ ఏంటి? టు లాంచ్ శాటిలైట్స్, అంతేనా? అంటే అందులో ఉండే మెయిన్ పర్పస్ఫుల్ థింగ్ ఏంటిది? శాటిలైట్. సో దట్ మీన్స్ ద పేలోడ్ ఆఫ్ ఎ లాంచ్ వెహికల్ విల్ బి satellite. Whatever is the main objective of that launch vehicle, that is what we call as the payload. Now let us take a satellite. Satellite యొక్క purpose ఏ ఉండొచ్చు? It can be a remote sensing satellite, it will have some purpose, or communication satellite will have some other purpose, navigation satellite will have some purpose. Let us say if it is a remote sensing satellite, for earth observation it might have some kind of a camera for observing. సో దీని యొక్క పర్పస్ సర్వ్ చేసే ఇన్స్ట్రుమెంట్స్ ఏదైతే ఉంటాయో, సైంటిఫిక్ ఇన్స్ట్రుమెంట్స్, దాన్ని పేలోడ్ అంటాం. ఫర్ ఏ లాంచ్ వెహికల్ ద పేలోడ్ ఈస్ వాట్ ఎవర్ ద పర్పస్ దట్ ఈస్ బీయింగ్ సర్వ్, దట్ ఈస్ ద శాటిలైట్. ఫర్ ఏ శాటిలైట్ ద పేలోడ్ విల్ బి ద సైంటిఫిక్ ఇన్స్ట్రుమెంట్స్ దట్ ఆర్ ప్రజెంట్ ఇన్ ద శాటిలైట్. అర్థమైందా? సో ద పేలోడ్ కెపాసిటీ ఆఫ్ SLV-3 ఎంత మనకి? 40 kgs అని చెప్తున్నాం. అంటే దాని మీనింగ్ ఏంటి? వాట్ ఈస్ ద మీనింగ్ ఆఫ్ దట్? SLV-3 లాంచ్ వెహికల్ కెన్ క్యారీ ఓన్లీ 40 kgs ఆఫ్ శాటిలైట్. అండ్ నార్మల్లీ 40 kgs మనకి ఏదైనా శాటిలైట్ ఉంటుందా? నౌవేడేస్ నానో శాటిలైట్ కాన్సెప్ట్ ఈస్ బీయింగ్ ఎమర్జ్డ్. ఓకే, బట్ వన్స్ అపాన్ ఏ టైమ్, ఓకే, దేర్ ఈజ్ నో శాటిలైట్ విచ్ ఈజ్ ఆఫ్ 40 kgs. సో దీస్ ఆర్ ఓన్లీ డెమాన్స్ట్రేషన్ లాంచ్ వెహికల్స్. దట్ మీన్స్ these are the launch vehicles which demonstrated that we have some kind of technology by using we can launch a launch vehicle. And again this is like the first step that we have made in developing a launch vehicle. Later by using this technology our PSLV and GSLV came into picture. Actual SLV-3 again cannot be used for launching any kind of satellite. Okay, till we got our PSLV we are not launching any satellites commercially. Okay, but first launch vehicle of India, what is it? SLV-3, developed in the year 1980. Later ISRO was established in the year 1969. Okay, and later in 1972 Department of Space was formed along with Space Commission, and ISRO was brought under the administrative control of Department of Space. So 1962 INCOSPAR was formed. 1969 ISRO was formed. 1972 Department of Space. Okay, now organizational structure of ISRO. As I have already told you, Department of Space directly comes under PMO. So at the top we will have Prime Minister, and under that we have Department of Space, and దీంతో పాటే మనకి ఫామ్ అయింది స్పేస్ కమిషన్. 1972 I told you two things formed, Space Commission and Department of Space. Under Department of Space we have ISRO, and under Department of Space we have two independent organizations called NSIL and Antrix. What are those? We will see. But as of now these two are the commercial arms of ISRO. Commercial arms of ISRO. That means ISRO will be developing various kinds of technologies. Okay, rakarakal technologies ISRO every year they will be developing. Now by using these technologies we will be making so many products like satellites, launch vehicles, etc., etc. But these technologies can also be used for commercial purpose, or we can commercialize them. How? Some of the satellite technology that we have developed, if we transfer it to some company so that they can make some kind of satellites or they can make some kind of launch vehicles, for this transfer of technology we will take some money. So that is what is commercializing the technologies developed by ISRO. And for commercializing all the technologies that are developed by ISRO, will the ISRO scientists do that? Or are they capable of doing all these things? They are capable of developing technologies. So for that we have established two commercial arms of ISRO called NSIL and Antrix. They will look after this transfer of technology or commercializing the technologies of ISRO, etc. Again, in detail we will see them. Okay, what are the objectives and all. And under ISRO we have several centers. Each center will have a specific purpose. Like for example, Vikram Sarabhai Space Center. Here we develop launch vehicle technologies. All the PSLV, GSLV, etc. okay, are developed under Vikram Sarabhai Space Center. Similarly, we have another center called Liquid Propulsion System Center, where we develop the liquid engine that we use in our PSLV and GSLV. Okay, in our PSLV, in the second stage and fourth stage, we use something called liquid engine. Okay, again, we will see all those things. Ee roju class lo edaithe cheppukuntunnamo, don't worry about any terminologies. All of them will be repeated again. Today and some part of tomorrow will be just overview of what is going to come. Okay. అలాగే మనకి సతీష్ ధవన్ స్పేస్ సెంటర్ which is located in Sriharikota. It is the launch station of India. So like that, under ISRO we have several centers and each center will have a specific purpose to serve. And under them we have several units. Again, each unit will have some specific small objective which it is going to serve. And under Department of Space we have some independent laboratories. One already we have seen, Physical Research Laboratory. Like that, we have several laboratories where some research and development related to various technologies will be happening. Not just space technology, various technologies related research will be happening. Okay. Now, in this whole, we need to know a little bit about the centers, Antrix and NSCL in detail. Units, no need to know in detail, questions will not be asked. But centers, question can be asked on two aspects. Where they are located, that can be asked. What is the objective or purpose of that center? Only these 2 points. Similarly, on Antrix and NSIL, what is their objective? What do they do? That can be asked. Okay, again laboratories not needed. Okay, just ఇది డ్రా చేసుకోండి. ఆర్గనైజేషనల్ స్ట్రక్చర్ ఆఫ్ ఇస్రో అని చెప్పి, నో నీడ్ టు డ్రా, ఇవన్నీ రాసుకోవసరం లేదు. హియర్ జస్ట్ కీప్ ల్యాబొరేటరీస్, ఒక లైన్ పెట్టి ల్యాబొరేటరీస్, and no need to write units as well. Just keep a line and write units. Okay, ఇక్కడ కూడా centers అని పెట్టండి. Don't write all, just write 1 or 2. Okay, మిగిలినవి రాసుకోండి. అంటే ఓవరాల్ ఒక పిక్చర్ కోసం అంతే. After the class, you will be getting the PDF of whole space technology. Okay, tomorrow before coming to the class, just see what are the topics that are there. Okay, చదవమని చెప్పట్లా, just have a glance. And whatever we have discussed today, once revise it. Right. Now we will see the ISRO centers and their objective, where they are located. So first one, Vikram Sarabhai Space Center. So where is it located? Thiruvananthapuram. Okay. So it is actually the first launch station of India. Okay, it used to be called as Tumba Equatorial Launching Station. but later renamed as Vikram Sarabhai Space Center. Okay, it used to act as the first launch station. You might have seen a picture where some people are carrying a rocket on a cycle and all. Who are present in that photo?
Dr. APPSC.
Many people think it is APJ Abdul Kalam, but no. It is Vikram Sarabhai and Satish Dhawan. Okay, two founding members of ISRO. Okay, they are carrying something called a sounding rocket. Okay, we will discuss about them later. So basically, Vikram Sarabhai Space Center located in Tirunanthapuram. What is the main objective? It is a lead center that is responsible for design and development of launch vehicle technology. Launch vehicles like PSLV, GSLV, SLV, SSLV, etc., etc. All these launch vehicles are designed and developed at the Vikram Sarabhai Space Center. That is the main purpose. So we need to know just two things: where it is, what is the purpose. Okay, simple. Here it will be the major programs will include PSLV, GSLV and other aspects. Okay. Next, Liquid Propulsion System Center. It is located in Bangalore. Here we need to understand again one more term: propulsion. In space technology and defense technology, this word will be repeated 10 to 20 times. So understand the meaning of this word here itself. Propulsion means whatever the engine we use in a particular vehicle. Let us say, okay, we have a car. కార్కి మనకి రెండు రకాల ఇంజన్లు ఉంటాయి. ఏమేంటి? పెట్రోల్, డీజిల్. That means based on the type of fuel we use, we will name the engine. Either we call it a petrol engine or a diesel engine. So simply that is what is called as propulsion. Propulsion is nothing but what is the type of engine plus the type of fuel that is used. Combination we call it propulsion. So whenever we see this word propulsion, just remember fuel and the engine. Okay, a particular fuel type engine. Here manaki different types of fuels in space technology and defense technology will be solid fuel, liquid fuel, cryogenic fuel. So simply we will have three types of engines: solid fuel used engine, liquid propulsion engine or cryogenic engine. Okay, solid means which is using some kind of solid fuel, a engine which is using solid fuel, or a engine which is using liquid fuel. What are those fuels? We will see later. We will get all these details. Okay, what is the solid fuel particularly? We call it HTPB. Okay, what is HTPB? We will see later. Okay, so similarly liquid engine means it uses liquid fuel. Cryogenic engine, another type, okay, which uses something called liquefied hydrogen and liquefied oxygen. Normally tell me, hydrogen and oxygen, their normal state is gaseous state or liquid state? Gaseous state. So if we are making them to come into liquid form, that means what we are doing? If we have to convert a gas into liquid, what we need to do? Or inko rakanga, water vapor to water, what we need to do? Simply we have to cool it. Antena? Whenever you see this word cryo, okay, just remember cool or cold. Okay, this word you will see also in geography in the form of cryosphere. Cryosphere. Normally you know what is a hydrosphere? What is hydrosphere? Hydrosphere is the place on earth where water exists. Biosphere where life exists. Cryosphere is the places on earth which are cool or frozen. Arthainda? So whenever you see the word cryo, remember cool, cold or frozen. So cryogenic engine, what we are doing? Hydrogen and oxygen which normally exist in gaseous form we are cooling them down and making them in liquid form. Liquid hydrogen as a fuel, liquid oxygen as a oxidizer. That is what we use in cryogenic engine. Again, don't worry, మళ్ళీ వస్తాయి. Okay, no need to write. ఇవన్నీ వస్తాయి మనకు డీటెయిల్స్. But here understand the word propulsion. Propulsion means engine plus type of fuel. Next, Satish Dhawan Space Center. As I already told you, it is the launch station of India, located in Sriharikota. Okay, here what will be there? Whatever the necessary infrastructure that will be required for launching a launch vehicle or satellites, all the launch base infrastructure will be present here. Okay, so Satish Dhawan Space Center in Sriharikota, also called as the space port of India. Just like airport, we are calling it spaceport. It is responsible for providing launch base infrastructure for the Indian space program. Okay, so where is it located? What is the purpose? Two things. So the center has two launch pads from where our PSLV and GSLV are being launched. But recently a third launch pad was also developed for SSLVs. Again, don't worry, they will come later. Small satellite launch vehicle. Okay, recent development that happened. And there are other launch pads also for SLV and ASLV which were developed initially, but because right now we don't use those launch vehicles, those launch pads are not operational. మనకు ఫస్ట్ లాంచ్ వెహికల్ డెవలప్డ్ ఇన్ ఇండియా అని చెప్పాను 1980 SLV-3. సో వెన్ వీ హ్యావ్ డెవలప్డ్ దట్ వీ హ్యావ్ క్రియేటెడ్ ఎ లాంచ్ ప్యాడ్ ఫర్ దట్, బట్ లేటర్ వీ హ్యావ్ క్రియేటెడ్ ASLV. సో ఫర్ ASLV వీ హ్యావ్ క్రియేటెడ్ అనదర్ లాంచ్ ప్యాడ్, but after that we have developed our PSLV and GSLV, which are the two launch vehicles we use for launching all our satellites or all our space missions. But recent development, very recent, just this year August, we have successfully tested SSLV. So for that we have created another third launch pad. So three active launch pads, one for PSLV, another for GSLV, third for SSLV. Okay, and other aspects related to this center will be to produce solid propellant. Again, what is the meaning of this? Solid propellant means the fuel that is used in solid type of engine. Okay, solid fuel, solid propellant boosters for the launch vehicle program, and to provide infrastructure for qualifying various subsystems and solid rocket motor etc., and to provide launch base infrastructure for satellites and launch vehicles. Next, UR Rao Satellite Center, again located in Bengaluru, formerly known as ISRO Satellite Center. As the name is suggesting, what do we develop here? All kinds of satellites. Okay, all the satellites that are developed in India, okay, are being developed here. Okay, this is like the main core center of ISRO where the satellites will be developed. The lead center for building satellites and developing associated satellite technologies. Okay, satellite and their associated technologies are being developed in the center, that is UR Rao Satellite Center, located in Bengaluru. So since its inception, this has developed various kinds of hundreds of satellites for various applications like scientific, communication, navigation, remote sensing, etc., etc. All types of satellites, single center, UR Rao Satellite. Next, Space Application Center. As the name is suggesting, application. So here what we develop is payloads or scientific instruments that are used in the satellites. I have already explained what is the meaning of a payload. Okay, so the payloads or scientific instruments that are used in the satellites will be developed in this center. That means it is the application. We have made a satellite. A satellite, what is the purpose of the satellite? That will be decided by what is the payload in it. అర్థమవుతుందా? ఒక శాటిలైట్ యొక్క పర్పస్ ఏం డిసైడ్ చేస్తుంది? వాట్ ఈస్ ద పేలోడ్? ఇఫ్ ద పేలోడ్ ఈజ్ సమ్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ ఎ కెమెరా, దట్ మీన్స్ ఇట్ ఈస్ అ రిమోట్ సెన్సింగ్ శాటిలైట్. ఇఫ్ ద పేలోడ్ ఈజ్ సంథింగ్ కాల్డ్ ట్రాన్స్పాండర్, that is what is used in communication satellites. Again, don't worry, all these things will come later. So Space Application Center with its headquarters in Ahmedabad is spread across various campuses, and the core competence of the center lies in development of spaceborne and airborne instruments or payloads, okay, and their application for national development and societal benefits. So basically they will develop payloads or scientific instruments that are used in satellites, which will serve multiple purposes or which can be used for multiple applications, okay. So the center contributed significantly in scientific and planetary missions like Chandrayaan-1, Mars orbiter mission, etc. So in Chandrayaan-1 we will use multiple payloads for doing multiple purposes, like for detecting water molecules we will have a particular payload, for studying the mineral composition we will have a particular payload, for studying the atmospheric composition we will have a particular payload. Payload nothing but scientific instruments, okay. Oka satellite lo manaki multiple scientific instruments will be there, and each scientific instruments will have multiple purposes, okay. Each of them will call it payload, okay. Now National Remote Sensing Center located in Hyderabad and on this particular National Remote Sensing Center, recently in April, this year April, there was an exam called CSIR exam was conducted, okay. Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, they conduct an exam which will be online exam. Generally most of the UPSC aspirants or civil service aspirants also attempt that, because syllabus will be almost similar. In that exam question was asked on this, where this is located. Simple question, where National Remote Sensing Center was located. It is located in Hyderabad. What is the purpose of this? It is responsible for remote sensing satellite data acquisition. That means whatever the data that is collected by our remote sensing satellites, the data they will acquire, they will process that data, they will analyze that data, and finally disseminate that data to whomever necessary, okay. That satellite data acquisition, then studying the data, processing the data, getting some information from the data, and then giving that information to respective departments. Let us say a particular satellite is being used for studying mineral composition of a particular location. So they will give that data to the department that is related to Department of Geology or something like that, Department of Minerals. So for whomever necessary, that data will be disseminated, okay. Acquisition, processing, data dissemination, and aerial remote sensing and decision support for the disaster management. All these purposes will be done by National Remote Sensing Center, which is located in Hyderabad. So these are the main centers under ISRO, where they are located and their purpose, okay. Next I have told you two commercial arms of ISRO. One is Antrix and the other is NSIL. So first Antrix. For both Antrix and NSIL, single purpose is commercializing the technologies that are being developed by ISRO. And ISRO is developing some technology by using what? Public funds. That means whatever the funds that are provided by the government, by using that funds ISRO is developing technologies. At the end of the day, if public funds are being used for developing a technology, they should be helpful for the people. Similarly, by using the technology that was developed, if we can commercialize it and if we can get some money out of it, again we can use it for more research and development. So for commercializing the technologies that are developed by ISRO, okay, two organizations were formed. First one Antrix, which was formed way before in 1992, okay. Antrix Corporation Limited, Bengaluru, is a wholly owned Government of India company under the administrative control of Department of Space. It was incorporated as a private limited company owned by the Government of India in September 1992 as marketing arm of ISRO. What is the purpose? For promotion and commercial exploitation of the space products. It is a marketing arm. So it will market the products of ISRO. If anybody wants those products, they can buy from ISRO, and the mediator will be Antrix. Commercial exploitation of space products, technical consultancy service, transfer of technologies developed by ISRO. Transfer of technology we need to understand. Let us say I have already told you ISRO is developing something called SSLV. What ISRO wants to do is, ISRO doesn't want to develop SSLVs for the future launches. ISRO has developed the technology. ISRO want to transfer the technology to any company which is interested. And later these SSLVs will be developed in India by some private companies. Similarly, some private company will be developing some satellites. And these SSLV developed companies will also be provided with their launch pads either in Sriharikota, or we are developing a new space station for SSLV in Kulashekarapatnam. Again, we will see that later. So there they will be provided their own launch pads. So what will happen in future? All the satellites for private sector will be launched by private launch vehicles. The whole gamut of space operations will be going private, which is what is already happening in countries like US. In US, the launch vehicles that are present in US right now, none of them are being developed by NASA. Either they will be provided by SpaceX or some other organization. What NASA will be doing? They will be just doing research and development related to various space technologies. Once they develop a technology, they will sell that technology to some company, whoever is interested. By using that technology, any company like SpaceX can make that launch vehicle or satellite, etc., etc. What NASA will do? They will simply buy that launch vehicle from a private company, and by using that, they will be doing whatever they want. So tomorrow we also want to go into such a space. So for that we will require some mediator, and one such mediator is Antrix. So another major objective is to facilitate development of space related industrial capabilities in India. So in India also we want to develop some industries which will work exclusively in the space sector. Okay, commercializing the or commercial exploitation of products of ISRO, marketing arm of ISRO, and also to develop industrial capabilities in India. With same objectives, we have another organization called NSIL. Okay, and one more thing here, it is mentioned private limited company. Yeah, please.
Like in now, the NASA has used the Boeing company for the. So now it has failed. Now,
Yes.
Now the NASA can sue the company for the fault, or is the fault is in the NASA's?
No, it is the company's fault only.
Then they have to sue the company.
Already it is being done. Right now Boeing is being sued for billions of dollars. Okay, and the case is already going on.
Then it comes under security threat.
Security threat atla? No, security threat won't be there. See, NASA has trusted the technology that was developed by Boeing, and Sunita Williams and Rob.
But it's the threat to the life of the astronauts.
Yeah, correct. But they have accepted for that. Those two astronauts are not provided by NASA. Those two astronauts have volunteered for the testing. Already the company might have signed all the required agreements and all. If an astronaut is going into space, means they know there will be such failures, there will be some life-threatening situation, etc., etc. So it's not like every time when we send a space mission, there will be risk. But unfortunately, that Boeing has failed. Fortunately, they are still alive. Okay, only some technical issue happened. Again, a Crew Dragon module of SpaceX will go somewhere in January, and it will bring them back. Okay, as of now they are stuck in International Space Station. But still, they are testing a technology. We can never stop that. Okay. As I was saying, private limited company. What is the meaning of this? What is the difference between public limited company, private limited company? ఇక్కడ ఏం చెప్పాను మరి కూడా చెప్పండి. Then how it became a public limited company? Sorry, private limited.
Funded by private.
Wholly means what? 100%. 100% shares are with government. Then why it became a public limited company? Sorry, private limited company. So difference, whatever you are saying, that is related to public sector, private sector. Okay, if 50% and more shares are with government, that company will come under public sector. Less than 50% shares are with government, then that is private sector. But public limited, private limited, this term is related to if that company has went public with their shares. That means if the company shares you and me can buy through IPO. If the company has went for an initial public offering, that means it has given its shares for the public to buy through a stock market. Stock market ద్వారా మీరు నేను ఆ కంపెనీ షేర్స్ కొనగలిగితే that means that is a public limited company. Otherwise, if a particular company shares are only limited to few members, they are not released for the public to invest. అర్థమవుతుందా? Then that is a private limited company. ఇక్కడ ఏం చెప్పాం? 100% shares by government of India. Are we investing in that company? Or can we invest in that company? No. Only when a company goes for IPO, initial public offering. అంటే ఏంటి? ఆ కంపెనీ యొక్క షేర్స్ అనేవి నార్మల్ పీపుల్ కొనుక్కోవడానికి ఆస్కారం ఇచ్చినట్టు. ఓకే, if a company is going public, then that company will become a public limited company. Otherwise, whether it is owned by government or whether it is owned by a private company, it will be called as private limited. Public limited, private limited difference, whether the company has went for IPO or not. Okay, understood or not? Right. Now, New Space India Limited incorporated very recently 2019 under Companies Act, wholly owned by the government. Now tell me whether it is a public limited or private limited. Wholly owned by the government. Again private limited. Shares are not given for the public to invest. Okay, 100% shares are only with the government. So it is also a private limited company under the administrative control of Department of Space. And again, what is NSIL? The commercial arm of ISRO. Okay, with the primary responsibility of enabling Indian industries to take up high technology space related activities, and is responsible for promotion and commercial exploitation of all the technologies developed by ISRO. So if you see, almost similar objectives between Andrix and NSAL, but there is one difference. Okay, what is the difference? Andrix will handle ISRO's commercial deals for satellites and launch vehicles with mainly foreign customers, not only. Remember this. Here we are not saying only with foreign customers, mainly with foreign customers, Andrix. Whereas NSIL will deal with capacity building of local industry for space manufacturing. Again, not exclusively. Andrix can also make deals with local industry. NSIL can also make deals with other countries. But main purpose, Andrix will look after the external, okay, foreign customers. NSIL will mainly look after the local industries. Okay, that doesn't mean they can't do the other aspect. Main purpose. But both are same. Both are existing commercial arms of ISRO. Okay, రెండింటి యొక్క పర్పస్ ఒకటే, కమర్షియల్ ఆర్మ్ ఆఫ్ ఇస్రో ఆర్ మార్కెటింగ్ ఆర్మ్ ఆఫ్ ఇస్రో ఫర్ ప్రమోటింగ్ అండ్ కమర్షియల్ ఎక్స్ప్లాయిటేషన్ ఆఫ్ ద ప్రొడక్ట్స్ డెవలప్డ్ బై ఇస్రో. రైట్. సో వన్ ఆఫ్ ద మ్యాండేట్స్ ఆఫ్ NSIL ఈజ్ టు mass produce and manufacture SSLV and more powerful PSLV in partnership with the private sector in India through technology transfer. By transferring the technology that is related to launch vehicles like PSLV and SSLV and making them available for a private sector company, we are enabling them to manufacture launch vehicles. As of now, what is happening in space sector in India? Everything is manufactured by ISRO. Whether it is a satellite, whether it is a launch vehicle, launch station, launch pad, etc. Private sector role is very limited. Okay, it is just limited to providing some kinds of components for the satellites. as of now. But in future what we want to do is, we want to make private sector to involve in each and every aspect of the space sector, starting from launch vehicle to launching of satellites and also managing the satellites as well. ISRO will confine itself to what? Research and development. Okay, what ISRO is going to do? Research and development. It will be just developing new technologies. Once a new technology is developed, the technology will be transferred to a private company where they will do all the manufacturing aspect. Okay. Now next topic, milestones of India space program. Before that, write a question. Write a short note on organizational structure of ISRO. Write a short note on organizational structure of ISRO. Write a short note on organizational structure of ISRO. 10 marks, 150 words. 10 marks, 150 words. Now you tell me, how are we going to write answer for this question? What you will write in the introduction? Remember one thing, before you tell, remember one thing, in GS2 and GS3, unless you write the current affair aspects in your answer, if you write a textbook answer, you are not going to get any marks. అంటే ఈరోజు ఏదైతే క్లాస్లో చెప్పుకున్నామో అది మాత్రమే యూజ్ చేసుకుని ఈ ఆన్సర్ రాస్తాను అంటే యు ఆర్ నాట్ గోయింగ్ టు గెట్ మార్క్స్. యూ హ్యావ్ టు ఇంక్లూడ్ వాట్? కరెంట్ అఫైర్ ఆస్పెక్ట్స్. నౌ టెల్ మీ వాట్ యూ విల్ రైట్ ఇన్ ద ఇంట్రడక్షన్. అగైన్ టెక్స్ట్ బుక్. That you can write. Yes. Simply write some notable thing that ISRO has done in the recent times. కొంచెం 1 year వెనకైనా వెళ్ళొచ్చు, మీకు తెలిసింది. Let us say I will write an introduction something like this. With the recent launch of Chandrayaan 3, ISRO has achieved new heights in the field of space sector. Right? ఇక్కడ ఏం చేస్తున్నాను? ఇస్రోని హైలైట్ చేస్తున్నా, చంద్రయాన్ 3ని హైలైట్ చేయట్లా, గుర్తుంచుకోండి. బికాస్ ద క్వశ్చన్ ఈజ్ అబౌట్ ISRO. సో ఐ హ్యావ్ టు హైలైట్ ఇన్ ఈచ్ అండ్ ఎవ్రీ పాయింట్ ISRO's achievement. So with the recent launch of Chandrayaan 3 and Aditya L1, ISRO has achieved new heights. Okay, that can be introduction. Then simply I will put the heading organizational structure of ISRO. Then what I have to do? Diagram. Whatever the flow chart or diagram that you have drawn in the class today, a diagram వేసుకుంటాం. After that, what do you need to do? First you will keep the heading Department of Space. Department of Space యొక్క మెయిన్ పర్పస్ ఏంటి? You will write 2 lines. Okay, what is the main purpose of Department of Space? To provide policy guidelines for the space research in India. Then what you will do? You will say that under Department of Space we have 2 commercial arms called Antrix and NSIL. ఆ రెండింటి గురించి అగైన్ 2 lines. వాట్ ఈస్ దేర్ మెయిన్ పర్పస్? మొత్తం రాయకూడదు, జస్ట్ సింపుల్ ఎక్స్ప్లెనేషన్, బికాజ్ ఇట్ ఈస్ ఏ 10 marks క్వశ్చన్. వర్డ్ లిమిట్ షుడ్ నాట్ గెట్ ఎక్సీడెడ్. సింప్లీ యూ విల్ రైట్ వాట్ ఈస్ Antrix, వాట్ ఈస్ NSIL. దెన్ వాట్ యూ విల్ డూ? అండర్ ISRO వీ హ్యావ్ సెవరల్ సెంటర్స్ విచ్ ఆర్ స్పెసిఫిక్ పర్పసెస్. ఓకే, టేక్ 2 centers as examples and explain about 2 centers. No need to write all the centers. Already in the diagram you have shown there is ISRO, under that we have several centers, under that we have several units, we have several laboratories. Just explain about 2 centers, that will be enough. Finally you have to write conclusion. In conclusion what we need to write? Introduction, what we have written? Some recent achievement we have written. In conclusion what we need to write? Some upcoming program of ISRO. You know one such program, Gaganyaan mission. What is Gaganyaan mission? it is going to be the first human space flight program of India. That means till now Indians went into space, but never ISRO or India has sent some person into space. ఇప్పుడు వరకు ఇండియన్ స్పేస్లోకి వెళ్ళారు కానీ ఇండియా ఎవరిని స్పేస్లోకి పంపించలేదు. యాజ్ ఆఫ్ నౌ వీ డిడెంట్ సెండ్ ఎనీ వన్ ఇన్ టు స్పేస్. సో ఫస్ట్ ఎవర్ టైమ్ such a achievement we are going to achieve with the launch of a mission called Gaganyaan mission. So in conclusion, simply we will write, with the establishment of SSLV and the upcoming launch of Gaganyaan mission, ISRO is going to achieve even new heights. Understood? That is how answer should be. Introduction, something recent, current affair aspect, so that the examiner will understand, okay, this is a person who is reading current affairs, who has some awareness about what is happening around him. Based on that, okay, newspaper knowledge, he is writing the answer. He is not writing answer just by reading a book. Our exam syllabus or the paper name is general studies, not subject studies. They are not expecting you to read subject and write the answer. They are expecting you to write the answer based on your general knowledge, newspaper knowledge. So our answer should reflect in such a way. Okay, that will only be reflected when we write the current affair aspects. All right, so everybody will try writing that answer. రేపు వచ్చి చూపిస్తారు కదా, రైట్. Because I will send the PDF, we will have all the content required. I already told you how you need to write the answer as well. Now, milestones of ISRO starting from 1962 till recent August 15 SSLV launch. What all happened we will see at a glance. Okay, in this some of them will be important, not all of them. Some major things you need to remember. Okay, non-major things we'll just have a look at them. So first thing, one major thing, 1962, what happened? INCOSPAR was formed, Indian National Committee for Space Research, under Dr. Ramanathan and Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, who is called the founding father of India's space program. Okay, so INCOSPAR is formed under the leadership of Vikram Sarabhai, and immediately next year 1963 the first sounding rocket of India was launched from Tumba Equatorial Rocket Launching Station, which is now renamed as Vikram Sarabhai Space Center. Okay, Tumba Equatorial Launching Station, that is there in Kerala, Tirunanthapuram, which is used for probing upper atmospheric regions and space research. Don't worry, what is a sounding rocket and all, we will see later. Okay, here whatever we are discussing, many terms will be there. Don't worry about the terms. Just look at what is happening in a chronological order. Alright. Next, in 1965, some center was established called Space Science and Technology Center. Not too much important. 1967, again one more station was set up. 1968, again one more Earth station was set up. These are not important. Next, what is important? 1969. Why is it important? ISRO was formed. Okay, 62 INCOSPAR formed. 63 first sounding rocket was launched from India from Tumba Equatorial Launching Station. ఆ సౌండింగ్ రాకెట్ మీరు ఆ ఫోటోలో చూసిన ఒక సైకిల్ పైన పట్టుకెళ్ళేది. 1963. 1969 ISRO was formed to harness the space technology for the development. And immediately in 1971 Satish Dhawan Space Center in Sriharikota was established. Already మనం చూసాం 1972 what was formed? Department of Space, and along with that Space Commission as well. And ISRO was brought under the administrative control of Department of Space. Okay. Next, 1975, already we have seen this as well. Aryabhatta, the first Indian satellite, was launched by using a Soviet, from a Russian facility, Soviet launcher. Okay. So first satellite of India, Aryabhatta, launched from a Soviet facility. This was recently asked in Telangana Group 1. Okay, on this. 1977 satellite telecommunication experiment project was carried out, not again important. 1979 First experimental remote sensing satellite was built in India and was launched. Not too important. 1980, very important. Already we have seen. What is that? First launch vehicle of India, SLV-3, was successfully tested. Okay. Once again recap. 1962, INCOSPAR was formed. 63, first sounding rocket was launched from Tumba Equatorial Launching Station. 69, ISRO was formed. 71, Satish Dhawan Space Center was established. 72, Department of Space established and ISRO was brought under the control. 1975, Aryabhatta, first satellite from India. 1980, SLV-3, okay, first launch vehicle of India was developed. Next, 1981, a satellite called Rohini was sent into the orbit, and again 82, first communication satellite INSAT-1A was launched. Again, not too important. 1983, second developmental flight of SLV-3. So generally for a launch vehicle, there will be 2 or 3 developmental flights. Okay. Once all the developmental flights are successful, we will say that now we can use it for the commercial purpose. Okay. Next, 1984, this is important. First person from India to go into space. చిన్నప్పుడు ఎప్పుడైనా చూసుంటారు, రాకేష్ శర్మ. First Indian to go into space, Rakesh Sharma, but we have not sent him. Soviet Union. Okay. So a joint manned mission of India and Soviet Union was launched in the year 1984, and in this mission first Indian cosmonaut Rakesh Sharma spent 8 days in the Russian space station Salyut 7. Now what is the difference between a cosmonaut and a astronaut? Is there any difference or are they same? Is there any difference or are they same? Actually there is no difference. Simply, if Russia is going to send somebody into space, they will be called as cosmonaut. If any other country send, they will be called as astronaut. Just during the Cold War era, to differentiate between, okay, whether Soviet Union is sending or America is sending, these words were used. Because Russia is sending, we are calling cosmonaut. Okay. Otherwise there is no difference. Only Soviet Union calls them cosmonaut. Rest of the countries will call them astronaut. Okay. Now 1987 ASLV was launched. Again test flight only. But 1992 important, ASLV was successfully launched for the first time. Okay. So మనకి 1980 SLV-3, 1992 we got our ASLV, but immediately next year only 1993 only PSLV carried out its first mission, but first successful mission of PSLV it is in 1994. So within the 2 years of ASLV launch we got our PSLV. Because of that ASLV again doesn't exist. Okay. And with the launch of PSLV, a new era of satellite launching started in India. From here on, most of the satellites, our remote sensing satellites, etc., we will be sending on our own. Till 1994, whatever the satellites of India were launched, they were launched by other countries' launch vehicles. From 94, majority of our satellites will be launching. That doesn't mean, okay, no other country is going to launch. ఓకే, వేరే కంట్రీ మనం లాంచ్ చేస్తుంటాం, మనకి కూడా వేరే లాంచ్ చేస్తుంటారు, బట్ మెజారిటీ విల్ బి లాంచింగ్ ఆన్ అవర్ ఓన్, రైట్? అండ్ 1999 PSLV started carrying out foreign satellites as well. Okay, from 94 till 99 it was carrying only Indian satellites, and once world has recognized the PSLV success, then they started, okay, putting orders for our PSLV for commercial satellite launch. And actually PSLV success is such that from 1994 till 2017, okay, there was not even a single failure, which is like a all time record. not even a single failure for almost more than 35 missions. Okay, one of the greatest achievement of our PSLV. That's why we call it the most reliable launch vehicle of India. In fact, by using PSLV, we not only launched our remote sensing satellites, we launched our navigation satellites, we launched our space missions like Chandrayaan 1 and Mangalyaan 1 as well. Okay, again we will see all of them later. So here after 1980, in 1984, Rakesh Sharma, first Indian to go into space. After that 1992, ASLV successfully launched. 94, PSLV successfully launched. 99, PSLV started foreign operations. Next 2001, GSLV was successfully launched. That was asked in the question. Manam previous year questions chusam. First question was based on this only, GSLV. GSLV was successfully launched, but remember, PSLV successfully tested in 93 and it started its operations in 94 itself. Whereas GSLV was successfully tested in 2001, but it started its operation much later in 2014. That in 2014, GSLV Mark II started its operation. GSLV Mark III, what we use right now for majority of our missions like Chandrayaan 3 etc. or our Gaganyaan mission, that started its operation from 2017, much later. The reason for that is, a prominent scientist called Nambi Narayan's arrest. You might have seen a movie called Rocketry, Madhavan movie. If you have not watched, try to watch it. You will learn a lot of things related to space technology. So because of his arrest, the GSLV technology which is related to cryogenic engine, adi munduku ellaledu. Because of not developing that cryogenic engine in a proper manner, till 2014 we were not able to actually use the GSLV for commercial purposes. It took a lot of time. But once we cracked the technology, in 2014 we started GSLV Mark II operations. From 2017 we started GSLV Mark III operations. Don't worry, again all these things will be repeated. And 2002 Kalpana 1 satellite was launched. Kalpana Chawla, you might have heard, in a Columbia spacecraft disaster, while coming back, she has died. So on her name, we have renamed. Initially the name was METSAT, Meteorological Satellite, but later we renamed it Kalpana 1. After that EduSat was launched, first dedicated education satellite of India in the year 2004. Again, no need to remember. 2008, very important, Chandrayaan 1 mission was launched. First moon mission of India, Chandrayaan 1, and again it was launched by using our PSLV. As I have told you, till 2014 we don't have GSLV. So till 2014, whatever the India's missions, they will be carried out by using PSLV only. And one more important thing, recently Aditya L1 actually we could have used GSLV, but we have used PSLV because we are storing our GSLV for our Gaganyaan mission. So till Gaganyaan mission gets completed, we are not going to use GSLV for any of the major missions right now. But Chandrayaan 2, Chandrayaan 3 used GSLV. Chandrayaan 1, PSLV. Right? Later, radar imaging satellite was launched in the year 2009, and 2010 some other satellites was launched. 2013, our navigation satellite system, Indian Regional Navigation Satellite System called NAVIC, that was launched again by using our PSLV. 13 kabatti, again PSLV. And in that year only we have started our Mars orbiter mission. November 2013 it was launched. It reached Mars in the year 2014. India's first interplanetary mission to the planet Mars called Mars orbiter mission or Mangalyaan was successfully launched. And India became the first ever country to successfully send a orbiter to the planet Mars in its first attempt. This is 2014 work. So, ikkada aapudam. We'll continue tomorrow. బట్ వన్స్ అగైన్ జస్ట్ రీక్యాప్ ఈ లాస్ట్ పార్ట్ వరకు. 1962 INCOSPAR was formed. 63 first sounding rocket from Tumba Equatorial Launching Station was launched. Next 1969 ISRO was formed. 71 Satish Dhawan Space Center. 72 Department of Space. 75 Aryabhatta first satellite of India. 1980 SLV-3. Okay. Next 1984 Rakesh Sharma went into space, first Indian. Next 1992 ASLV. 94 PSLV. 99 PSLV started its foreign operations. 2001 GSLV. Next 2008 Chandrayaan-1. 13 IRNSS or Navik. 14 Mars orbiter mission. Okay, so we'll stop here for today. We'll continue tomorrow.